So let's try this again. Hello and welcome. This is a dev stream. Not really, but it's a stream for my level editor plugin I made for Unity. It was originally created for Behind Stars and Under Hills, a game prototype made some years ago. Back then it was in-game, the editor. Now I transferred it into a plugin for Unity. And we wanted to originally use it for another game project, but right now it's just like something I upload on itch soon, and then you can use it, and hopefully some people will use it. And yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate how easy it is to create some little blocky levels, because it's a block-based level editor with this tool. And for this purpose, I made a test scene with a character controller and some atmosphere, some post-processing. Not much to see here really, but for the demonstration purposes, it will be enough. So I can press play and walk around. This is just a plane. I will delete it now. Let's remove my big head. Okay. And well, okay, to initialize the editor, I have to create a level setting. There are two already for the players, for the users. Either you can make a level out of nothing, then it's all air and you build blocks like this. Activate the editor, make a grid, and now you can build cubes into nothing. It looks like this. And the other way is making a level. I delete this now. And make a level out of boxes, like everything is cubes, and then you have to dig into it to make the level, which is for inside levels. Like this, then you have to use the air, and then you can make rooms easily. Let's save the light. So these are the standard methods for creating a level, for having the foundation of a level. But you can also define your own standard Bloxel method, and I will demonstrate it with the settings I created for this, where the second Bloxel type is the floor. Everything below position 0 is the floor, is like you dig it out, and everything above is air. So if I initialize this and I go to position 0, activate the grid, and then I place something here, then you see the first chunks that are generated are grass, and I can dig into the grass and can build on top of it with my normal cubes. So this is very useful if you want to set up some scene. Like what I want to do now is a building with a cellar or something like that. By the way, this is version 0.5 of bloed. bloed. Yes, this is Unity, by the way. Unity 2019. I tested it with Unity 2020 too, and not yet with 2021, but I think it should work. It should even work with earlier versions. Okay, so for this demonstration, I just want to create some kind of building you would find in some kind of stealth level was the plan. So I have to create these test blocks for the chunks to generate. This might change with later versions. Right now it's not the best way to create this, but for demonstration purposes it will be okay. So in the build menu of bloed you can, as you've seen, have grids, which this is a nice method for creating blocks easily, like drawing them on one plane and then you can move up to the next. But this is not what I like to do, because it's very restrictive. It's good for the beginning, but later on I like to build my levels like Lego, where you build each block on top of other blocks. So I can choose a better texture. For the floor I like to use some checkers. And now I could draw each block one by one, but I also have some tools like the Bloxel, where I set one block at once. Is the standard tool, but I can also have the cuboider, where I can have several blocks at once, like 6x6, and then I can build the floor easily this way. And yeah, it's called bloed because why not? Okay, so let's just roll with this, because I don't actually have a big plan what I want to make with this level. I just thought of building a house in the middle of some green grass. So here's how I test it with my character controller. And as you can see, it's very Minecrafty. Each block is 1 meter in size. But you can actually change this by scaling the structure, the Bloxel structure. But usually I go with the standard 1 meter size. Okay, now I have this floor, so I can easily add walls for it by creating a more cuboidal. So I want another texture, like some nice stone texture. So now I have to place it one by one, but I can also use the grid here. I have to check that it's on the right height, and then I just click and draw, and now I have my walls. There are other methods to create this like this. So I have walls. Another method would, like, I could, if I wanted, use the copy paster, and with just the control key I can mark the blocks I want to copy and paste. So I can put it on top, on top, on top, and change the wall height like this. I can even add it somewhere else. But for this house I don't actually want a bigger wall size. So let's remove the top wall, the top walls. We just use the cuboider again and place air. So like this. And adding a door is the easiest thing of all, just like this. Maybe somewhere else. Let's make it here for design purposes. This is a bit ugly, but we can change it easily. Because bloed not only has cube bricks but also slopes and corners. Like this. And with Control key and right click I can pick the texture, the material from the block the mouse is currently hovering. So I just can choose the wall texture and have it like this. Here it's a bit ugly, so I change this back. So a lot of just looking how it works and not really. For me it's all about testing stuff on the fly instead of having a clear plan from the beginning. I like this somehow when making my levels. With the tabulator key I can rotate a Bloxel type, like this corner here I can rotate with tab 4 times because it has 4 rotations, as you can see here. There are other corners and Bloxel types that have more options, like the slope. The slope is like here's the slope, and you can rotate it 4 times, but it can also be on the head, so I can use it like this, for example. Let's just roll with this. Okay, somehow it's 1 meter high, so there must be a way for the player to get on this floor, so maybe we can add some special Bloxel like stairs. Those are not perfect for this. Let's use this concrete texture and also change the Bloxels beneath the stairs. And this would be one way, remove them and then replace them with cubes. But there's also an easier way, 2 easier ways actually. Just use the texture tool and use the full mode, and then you can just draw the textures you want. Like this. The third option is the cuboider can also just replace textures. Instead of adding or removing Bloxels, it can change the texture only, and then you can replace textures at once. Okay. So 1 room is not enough, we want more. And we just use the tools we have. We could add some kind of stairs here and make a second floor. So let's add some stairs. Right here. with the texturing tools, as you saw, you can easily change the textures at once when you don't like them after placing them. So we can just choose this concrete texture and maybe replace it later if you don't like it. Yeah, and I actually used it for some game jams, the tool, but nothing was released so far. So this actually looks a bit like design. And now we have to add a second floor. And we use the cuboid again with the grid. So it's just a matter of a few clicks. And to make it more exciting, we add like a balcony maybe on this side. Make it more artsy. And of course there were our stairs. So we just remove blocks here so the player can actually get through. And let's test it first. A bit dark here, so let's add some light. Maybe just this point light here. And to make the scene even more exciting to look at, we can add more stuff to the ceiling, for example, like some decorative elements. Like we can remove this and then add some bricks, which are just smaller cubes. So, like this. And now let's build our second floor. These are a bit too big for me. Okay. Oh yeah, Bitsy. I know Bitsy. Of course, no room is really complete without windows. So just let's add them here. And now I just copy the bottom segment. Oh, I forgot a bit. But no problem. Okay, I didn't like the texture that much, so I might change it to this one maybe. And also I can use the cuboider. You have to be a bit careful, like in this part. Let's change it back. Oops, that's not what we wanted. So this is really where you have to be careful. But easy enough. Maybe not the prime example for such a building, but so far it works. And for the top, maybe we add some marble or some wood, just to showcase it. Let's use some half block here, so the room is a bit higher. And let's add another light source. can't never test the level enough. So let's fix this one error, and add some kind of balcony. I also use half cubes here, so they are not too thick, the walls. And here, of course, is the problem. If I add one element, it removes the other. And I don't have like corner elements for this, so I could just add them on the outside. By the way, it's more or less easily possible to add more Bloxel types, so you're not restricted only with these, which I provided by default. But one of the things I like about this plugin is how you have to limit yourself. Okay. Enjoy the view. So if you want, you can add more stairs here and add more levels to this nice little house. But as I said, the funny thing here is how you can dig from the floor on into it, so we can add some cellar. Also I could add some kind of hill here, just for demonstration purposes. Like I have some dirt lying around here. And connect them with slope corners. Had to make a lot of them. So there's some kind of dirt hill on the outside, just to make it a bit more interesting. And now let's add a cellar. Somehow I like digging into the geometry more. Where does it start? Maybe here. As you can see, we only have this grass texture all the time. This you can of course change also in the settings, but I just change the texture everywhere to the dirt texture. And I think I change it, the texture later on more. Okay. Of course, our blocks cuboider is useful here too, for creating big rooms with a few clicks. let's make this a bit more random, like a cave. So you can see it's all this grass texture, which is, and then I have to change all the textures at once. But I can do texture padding in the cuboider, so it changes all textures of all cubes around it at once. As you can see, this changes a bit here. We will fix this later. Maybe add some funky pillar here. Build a brick. And this will be very dark now, so we add another light source. To activate, select other game objects, it's always advised to deactivate bloed. Because otherwise you accidentally change the geometry. Give it a more dark atmosphere. Okay. And maybe have like a secret entrance on our dirt hill. And change the texture. So as you can see, this is one of the disadvantages of such a block editor. It has only one material per block. So if you place one block, it has on all sides this one texture, like here this checkers. So I added the possibility to change single sides of a Bloxel. Like this concrete texture, I could use, I could change for these here, which usually have the checker texture. I could change one single side of them with this texture. So, okay. And for those who are not visibly, otherwise I use the full mode. And the same with the grass here. I don't want to change it completely to grass, because then it would be wrong on the other side. So I change only the top side to grass. Be aware, of course, that this creates more data that has to be saved. But for such simple levels, it's okay. And maybe we add some kind of stairs here too, because otherwise it would be just a hole. We could use slopes here, maybe. Or let's use stairs. What? Oops. This happens sometimes. It just selects one because somehow the hierarchy got selected, the search bar. Strange enough. Of course, we don't always need 2 meter, 2 units wide stairs. We can just use one, like so. No idea if this is a realistic building. Probably not. So we can use slopes here to make it a bit easier to go down. Maybe add some more slopes just for making it, or corners for making it visually a bit more interesting. That's okay. And I actually would change the floor, the ceiling a bit. As this isn't a natural cellar, it's okay. To have a bit strange elements here. Also change the floor a bit. Actually move this wall. Okay. For behind stars and under hills, I created a lot of these slopes and corners just so it looks more naturally if we make natural looking caves. Of course, it's still blocky, which is absolutely okay for our purposes. Because that was how we wanted the levels to look like. The main thing is you try things out, how they look. And this is very easy with just adding blocks everywhere. Okay. So let's check this out. Maybe add a bit of diverse floor height with the half cubes. And maybe rotate the light a bit. Okay, this is a little level I did in 40 minutes. Can explore it. We go down here. Have some spooky cellar. Get up. Inside the building. Enjoy the view into the void. So there you have it. Of course, I already prepared another level with some obstacles and so on, decorations. And one of the things with this editor is it creates a lot of data because each Bloxel creates a mesh. And as you can see, it's a lot of mesh. It doesn't do much optimizations for different reasons. And to save some space when you save the game, especially the level, especially when you have a source control system, you can remove the meshes and only save the Bloxel data. So we can recreate the Bloxels with one button, can remove them and recreate them. And here's another level which is a bit like the one I made. And yeah, this was also made with bloed. Even with very simple Bloxel types, I think you can create interesting looking architecture, of course depending on your game. It's not suited for open world games with big levels, definitely not. But for small levels you like to explore, I think it's very usable. Okay, thanks for watching and have fun. The editor will be able on itch.io. The link is in the YouTube description. And I want to see what you make with it. Goodbye.